KUGAN CASSIUS for Rifle TV in association with Mac post-fight press conference. Right, let's just get this out of the way first of all. Disappointing night for Martin Murray, losing on a split decision. We watched the fight and didn't quite do enough.
Do you know what? I watched half of it with no sound on in the sort of now production office, and half of it with the sound on in the Sky truck. And when I had the sound on, I had him losing. But when I was watching the part of the fight so anyway, Randy on, very close, very close. Abraham maybe nicked it, but you got to win it well out there. So no complaints. It was a split decision. One gave it by 5 rounds, which is kind of irrelevant. I know everyone moans about scores, but I think in his heart of hearts, he probably feels like he didn't do enough in Germany. Do you know what I mean? But I think one thing that's important, Martin Murray said in the press interview, I think if I lose this, I'm not sure where I'll go. Couldn't disagree more. There are so many big fights for him in super middleweight, and he's a very talented fighter. So I want him to have a little rest, come back in the new year, and go again for a big summer fight. There's plenty of big fights out there.
At world level?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Listen, Abraham is so underrated. Everyone goes, oh, Abraham, he's just so straightforward. Mate, he's got a wonderful defensive guard. He hits so hard. He's strong, he's fit. He's hard to beat, very hard to beat. And listen, Murray can come again. Groves. We've got some big news on George Groves coming next week. Announcement with Sowlands. Very excited about for our January the 30th show. Murray, Callum Smith. I mean, it's literally so many fights for him, and he can get another shot. So I'll speak to him later, but I hope he keeps his head up because he put in a great performance, and he can be proud of that.
Hurt Abraham at one point in there, didn't he?
Yeah, he had him wobbled. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know that in those kind of fights, Murray's only going to do himself proud. So, and it could have gone either way. I just had a sneaky feeling when they were doing the scores that we were going to get it. You know, like sometimes when it always goes against you out there, you just think, you know what, just once we might get the rub of the green, but split.
It's a shame because he's one boxer that has deserved the world title in his career.
Yeah.
Manchester, I mean, of all the possibilities of how you thought this fight could have gone, a 5th round body shot knockout by Anthony Crolla probably wasn't one of them.
No, I did say, as you know, I'm right up with my predictions lately, but I didn't think it would go 12 rounds, and I didn't. But I thought Darlis Perez started really well. I didn't think he was winning the fight. I only gave him, I think, 1 or 2 rounds. But he looked very fit, and he looked very sharp. But the round before he stopped him, Crolla started hitting him to the body, and he just started to blow a little bit, and he looked uncomfortable. And the one that, I mean, I can't explain the feeling. You know, one to the body, and he goes down, and very rarely at world level do they not get up from the body shot. Do you know what I mean? And I saw him, I got to 5 and I thought, I know, and I shouted at Anthony, I went, Anthony, stay calm, like when he went to try and finish him. And I looked over and it's like 8, and I can't explain the feeling. It's like,
I mean, he was alright, but he didn't get out for quite some time.
It was a beautiful body shot, but mate,
But from all the lows of not knowing whether he's even going to box again, let alone anything else, the draw, and then going on to this, it just couldn't have happened to really a nicer person.
No, and I know that I always harp on he's one of the nicest men you could, but honestly, you know him, Coog, he's such a diamond man.
You can't say a bad word about him.
And I was worried that with the second fight, that sometimes the opportunity just passes you by, and he was so relaxed in the change room. I was a bit worried because he was laughing and smiling, and it was almost like, oh, we're here again. And when we got in the ring after the national anthem, I shouted at him. I said, "Switch on now," and he was like, "Yeah." I was thinking, he don't seem, but all he was just so relaxed and composed. And mate, that is, listen, you deal this business is like, honestly, it's like a right pain in the, I'll say it, bollocks, right? When things like that happen, you can take away the moans, you can take away the aggravation, you can take away the shows that bomb, the fights that don't work out, and nothing can replace that feeling. Nothing. I can't even explain. It's just like the best feeling in the world.
You may have another Kell Brook, Frankie Gavin, Timothy Bradley situation. Because if I was Kevin Mitchell, I'd go, hang on a minute, Ed. Why have I got to fight Barossa, stick me straight in with Crolla?
Because Barroso has to fight for it to become the mandatory. So, because of that situation with the interim belt, Barroso has to fight to become in a final eliminator to become the mandatory.
Is he
the
not
winner of that fight.
Is he not? Doesn't he have a voluntary then? Crolla?
No.
He has to fight.
I mean, look, you could possibly, if you turn around to the WBA and said we'll fight in January. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's realistically, I mean, and actually we're happy. And I hope Mitchell gets the credit for taking the Barroso fight, because that is one
very tough fight. Yeah.
This guy punches, he's southpaw, he's sharp. But Mitchell against Crolla is a really big fight. The Linares-Crolla fight is a really big fight. We've got Campbell, we've got Burns. You know, it's like, take your pick.
You're missing one there.
What have I missed now?
Terry Flanagan?
We can look at the Flanagan-Crolla fight. That could be a stadium fight in the summer. Obviously, there's political issues, but I don't care. I just want, I mean, look, Crolla had a nice payday in July. He had a bigger payday tonight. The next one's going to be mega. I just want him. I know it sounds cheesy, but when I see fighters going out, buying new houses, you know, Brook in his new house, beautiful, you know, Crolla can go and do that now. Jamie McDonald, you know, it's the best feeling in the world. And this is a kid. 2 years ago, he lost in prize fighter, I think in the first round or in the semis. He come back, you know, when he boxed Kieran Farrell for the English title, it was like that was his career-defining fight. There was about 800 people there, 1,000 people there, and you know he works so hard. He's never ever given up. And I know Joe Gallagher can be a right pain in the arse sometimes, and I know if you're a member of the public, probably like me, you could look at him and think, what a knob. I don't think there's many that dedicate themselves to their job or to the sport more than Joe Gallagher. Honestly, he's in that gym 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, he's swimming with them, he's at the track, he's sparring. He dedicates his entire life, probably as I do, to be honest with you, to my job.
Sam Accolade. Just obviously people wanting to talk to you. Wrap up the rest of the show for me. Tyrone Nurse becoming, British champion. Ryan Burnett going 12 rounds. With,
I mean, the Nurse against Jenkins fight was an incredible fight. I actually had Jenkins winning by a round, I think, which I don't think a lot of people agreed with, so maybe I was wrong. I thought the scores was much too wide, but very close. Burnett, you know, people would have watched and thought probably not overly impressed, but for his career, it was a wonderful experience going 12 rounds. And Jason Booth's so smart with his feet and on the inside, so it was great. Doyle against Lowe was a cracking fight. It was a draw, which I think they'll show later on. Who else we got? Charlie Edwards was sensational, knockout victory. Marcus Morrison was sloppy. Probably quite lucky to get a decision actually. I think it could have been a draw. Stuart Hall won. Liam Taylor got a stoppage. Who am I missing? I think that's it. Mental night. Great atmosphere.
Brian Rose.
Brian Rose, yeah, got 8 points victory. And no, I can't wait to watch it back. It was like, where were you sitting, on the press side?
Yeah, just.
Did you think he was going to get up? So he had your back to you.
Yeah. So when it got to about 6, I got up off my chair, walked up near the ring, and I thought, he's not. You know, didn't you?
Yeah.
So 1, 6, 7, you know.
They're not moving.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
All right.
Brilliant.
Eddie, thanks for talking to
Thank you, mate.
iFL TV.
Cheers, mate.
Catch up with you soon.